Hello, my name is Kurt Allen. I am here at Mental Health Partnerships. I'm joined by Suzanne Simonelli.
Hi, I'm Suzanne Simonelli. My son Michael died by suicide 10 months ago.
Before we get started, I would like to share with you that this topic is also very personal to me. I lost my brother to suicide back in 2013. I wanted to say that I'm grateful that you're here to talk to us about this, especially it being something that's so fresh in the beginning stages of my grief, that finding ways to keep my brother's memory alive and celebrate him were some of the ways that helped the most. And I just wanted to know what that might look like for you.
I have to say it's challenging to do that. The manner of death makes it, we found him, so it makes it hard to disassociate the last memory I have with the good memories.
We would like to hear a little bit more about Michael and who he was as a person and what he was like. If you could share a little bit of that.
Yeah. He was a 6'4" guy. He was handsome and blue eyes and just great smile. So I try to picture that, my strong, handsome son with the big personality. Michael came into the world, 10-pound baby, always was wanting to be in on the action, ran everywhere, you were always chasing him. He loved playing with his little cars and he loved those Power Wheels. He thought that he could drive because he could drive with Power Wheels. Just a happy kid. He was fun. He was challenging, but he was fun. As a little guy, he was really a lot of fun, and we had a lot of good times together. We enjoyed the beach and the boardwalk rides, and he loved to be with his grandparents and be spoiled. Nana and Papa were wonderful for that, and he ate it up. And then as he got into middle school, we started seeing some issues. He started showing signs of having anxiety and depression. But he was active. He was in choir as a kid from pretty much when he was in 3rd grade all the way through high school. He had a really nice voice. And in middle school, at least, he did a few solos. He blew us away. He would get up there and just act like it was no big deal. He looked very calm. And one of my favorite memories, and it's one of the things I miss the most, is hearing him sing. And then after high school, he graduated and he lived at home for about a year and was going to community college and working. He started working at 16 and he worked pretty much continuously. He moved to Philadelphia. He always loved the city, but he worked and he was seeming to be doing better with his mental health issues. He was, a little more in control of what he was doing, and I seemed to find counselors that were more helpful. He had started working for Starbucks out near us, but he seemed to really like making the customers happy. He enjoyed his coworkers. He was personable and he was hardworking, and so he was good at it. We saw a young man with so much potential and so much personality and brains and wit and humor. We always believed that it would all come together. But I always had hope. We knew he still struggled. It was definitely, always something that we were monitoring and dealing with. And he could be challenging to deal with because he would get frustrated, with us that we didn't understand. But he was working and he's going to school. During COVID, he lost his job. He had been working in restaurants, and of course all the restaurants in Philadelphia. So he moved home and lived with us. Now especially, we really cherish that extra year that we had at home with him. We, played family games and did hiking and enjoyed our pets. His cat, Georgia, lived in our basement because our dog did not get along with the cat. He left in May of 21, came back to the city. He had started working for Starbucks out near us in Exton, and continued that when he moved into the city. He had a really nice roommate and, seemed to settle in and made some nice friends. He was, having a good social life. Seemed to be taking care of himself. He was working out. He had gotten pretty fit. He'd gotten into really lifting. And so besides bike riding, which he had been doing forever, he, got a little bit more into being toned up, and he looked great. January of last year, he had, I guess I'll call them gastrointestinal issues that ended up in him having some surgery, and that was kind of a big catalyst to his falling back into a lot of his anxiety. And he didn't recover from the surgery as he or the doctors really expected him to, and he really internalized that. And from everything we can tell from the note that he left and from other things that we found in his phone after he died, he was convinced he was never going to be a healthy person again, and he didn't know how to deal with that. He was really settling into his life. Yes. Yeah. He was about to finish his bachelor's degree. Starbucks has an awesome continuing education program that allows for them to pay for you to go to school. So he was able to manage his work schedule and his school schedule, and he was this close to finishing. In fact, when he told me he quit, I was just devastated. I said, you were almost done. Like, now I know why he did. Because I'm not going to need it. I didn't realize what that meant.
I'm very sorry.
Thank you. I'm sorry for you too.
Thank you.
Just before I came here, I reread the note that we got from his coworkers at his last store where he worked at 9th and South, talking about how they were going to miss his sense of humor and his music and his listening and his laughter. And a customer left a really nice note on his memorial board about that she found out that he had passed away when she returned at the end of the summer and came into the 9th and South looking for him, because he always made her drink exactly the way she wanted. And it was very kind of her to leave that note. It was nice to hear that somebody noticed and missed him, besides all of us who miss him every day.
You had mentioned earlier in our conversation when we were kind of talking about the fragility of life, but that being your cause to kind of celebrate life and embrace it. And I kind of wanted to go back to that and get a better idea of what that looks like for you today.
For me, it means that despite Michael dying by suicide, that I have to keep putting one foot in front of the other. I have to get up and be strong, and I have my husband and my daughter and my brother and my dad and my nephews and nieces. I just have to keep going, and now I keep going and have to try to carry him with me. It's always going to be hard, and always going to be something we wonder, what could have been. But again, that's why I'm here. I want other people to try to find hope and remember that life is precious, and you have to keep fighting for it, because it's worth fighting for.
After Michael's passing by suicide, you connected with mental health partnerships, how you found out about us, and how ultimately how this came to be. When
we were planning Michael's memorial, knowing that people are always looking for a way to, make a donation, or I didn't want people sending flowers or, a lot of that. People did anyway, but I wanted a place that people could direct donations. But also, because of being in Michael's honor, I wanted a place that would help people here in Philadelphia. I really liked the programming that Mental Health Partnerships offers. It's not just about advocacy or raising money for the cause. You actually have programming that directly helps people who are in mental health challenges, and that was really what I was looking for. I wanted it to be an organization where people could get assistance.
Well, we're very appreciative for your reaching out and connecting with us in honoring Michael's memory. It's something that we are, very grateful to be a part of.
And I appreciate your being willing to walk alongside me. We're heartbroken. And if I could do it all over again, I'm not sure what I would do differently, but I would try to understand better.
I'm sure those memories are kept very close and are very sacred. It's the moments like that that are the most important, that are so sacred.
He came out to hike with me one time after he moved to Philly. We love hiking with our dog. And he and I hiked at a place real close by, and that's a really nice memory. Our family vacations that we took. The memories of him singing. And
did he have a favorite song to sing, or a favorite band, or
his friends told us that he did a really amazing karaoke. And my husband and I are so sad that nobody had a video to show us, because we would have loved to see. I can't remember the name of the song, of course. And he always sang in the shower, so.
I think he still rocked the mic.
Absolutely. But music was a lifelong love. Cars, pets. We had dogs. He had a cat. We have his cat Georgia living with us now. She's my daughter's cat now. I think in talking about mental health, people need to be mindful of the fact that just because someone puts on a strong face and seems like a strong person, and their life seems to be going very well, you really just don't ever know. And I mean, every environment has that element of mental health struggle. Not just people who look like everything is great. And to just try to be mindful of the person who maybe isn't speaking. And the more that mental health resources can be promoted and shared, every aspect of life could deal with knowing what mental health resources are available.